So remember when I warned that it's not just Nintendo gaming consoles and games that'll get more expensive, but gaming as a whole is about to get a whole lot more expensive? It has begun, with Xbox having raised prices for consoles, controllers, accessories like headsets due to, quote, market conditions, referring to tariffs and all the various economic elements currently ongoing. And it's pretty bad. Like I'm not gonna mince words here. This is going to cook Xbox. This is gonna be a rough tiding for hardware sales. So Microsoft on their official website, on their Xbox.com website specifically, posted the following notification and announcement stating, quote, pricing updates announced on May 1st, 2025. As of May 1st, so this has already gone into effect, we have adjusted recommended retailer pricing MSRP for consoles and controllers worldwide. We also expect to adjust the pricing of some of our new first-party games starting this holiday season to $80. What did I tell you? When Nintendo priced Mario Kart World at $80 alongside some of their Switch 2 edition games at $80, I said every other company is going to follow suit. That when one major company pulls a move that pisses everyone off, but they get away with it, every other corporation, every other entity in the gaming realm will see that and go, oh, we can now start getting away with that too. And so now Xbox is on board the $80 MSRP train for their major releases, and you can bet your ass that all other game publishers will follow suit. So gaming as a whole is about to get a whole lot more expensive. The statement continues. Those titles purchased on the Xbox Store have the benefit of Xbox Play Anywhere, allowing players to buy once and play on console and PC at no additional cost. We understand that these changes are challenging, and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players. So, how are prices going to change? Well, scrolling down, you'll find various PDFs for specific regions across the world, like the US, Europe, UK, Australia, so on and so forth. And looking at those PDFs, you'll find something like this. This is the US price points, the new price points, rather. Now, there's no comparison here. We can see the prices, but Xbox decided to omit the old prices because that's what companies do. They don't want people to see the price difference because it keeps consumers informed about just how much more they're paying. And when consumers are aware of how much more they're paying, then they're just less incentivized or more discouraged from purchasing that particular product. But right here, we have a post from C7 Gaming highlighting the old prices versus the new prices. And you can see it is ridiculous. The price increases are no joke. This is pretty egregious stuff. And it defeats the purpose of certain consoles like Xbox Series S, which is supposed to be this entry-level Xbox that is very affordable and reasonably priced. This has gone from $300 to $380. That is an $80 price increase that makes it priced similarly to a base PlayStation 5 console at $400. And then beyond that, that makes it significantly more expensive than Nintendo Switch consoles. The OLED version is $350, and that's cheaper than the Xbox Series S. And this is the 512 gigabyte model, the cheapest model. If you get the 1 terabyte model, that has gone from $350 to $430, also an $80 price increase. And then we got the flagship console, Xbox Series X. The digital version here has gone from $450 to $550. That's a $100 price increase. Same thing with Xbox Series X, from $500 to $600. And then a step above that, you've got the Galaxy Black Edition of Xbox Series X with an included 2 terabytes of internal storage, from $600 to $730. That's a $130 price increase, making it significantly more expensive than the more powerful and the newer console, PlayStation 5 Pro, which also comes with 2 terabytes of storage, which is currently priced at $700. The 2 terabyte version of Xbox Series X is $30 more than the PlayStation 5 Pro. It is utterly insane. And then you can also see right here that certain controllers, particularly the special editions and limited editions, have gone up by $10. You've got this right here, the Elite Wireless Controller Series 2, that has gone up by $20. And right here we have the Xbox wireless headset, which has gone up by $10. And that's on top of the fact that future Xbox releases will all likely be $80 from here on out. So the Xbox ecosystem as a whole just got a whole lot more expensive. And the thing is, Xbox, from a hardware sales standpoint, is lagging woefully behind the competition. Currently, according to VG Charts, the estimated sales for Xbox Series X and S as a whole is 32.77 million units, which is lagging woefully behind PlayStation 5's 75.28 million units, and the Switch is dominating at over 150 million units. And they're about to launch the Switch 2 at $450, which is, despite it still being somewhat expensive, significantly cheaper than some of these Xbox prices right here. And so when it comes to Xbox hardware, this puts Xbox in an incredibly precarious position. They're already lagging way behind. This will only exacerbate that problem. Now, it is worth noting that Xbox has shifted strategies recently. They're no longer about shipping their first-party games exclusively on Xbox. They're trying to make those games available on PC, as well as competing platforms like PlayStation and even Nintendo. They've already kind of made statements to that effect, saying that Xbox is now about playing those games anywhere, on the cloud, on, any screen that you can find, and selling their games on as many consoles as possible. They're essentially going third party. They're kind of going Sega. So you can see right here that titles like Forza Horizon 5 recently came out on PlayStation 5. Titles like Outer Worlds 2 are coming out on PlayStation 5. And then beyond that, you've got releases like Doom: The Dark Ages that's coming out on PlayStation 5. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered came out on PlayStation 5. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle came out on PlayStation 5. These are all under the Bethesda Softworks banner, which are all under the ZeniMax Media banner, which are now under the Microsoft banner because Microsoft purchased ZeniMax, and all of those games are coming out on competing platforms. So Xbox no longer really cares about hardware sales, but if their hardware sold well, it would put them in a more advantageous position, combined with the fact that the perception surrounding the price increases still apply, and it's going to dissuade people from the Xbox ecosystem as a whole. Now, one thing we do not know yet is how tariffs are going to impact PlayStation. Sure, the prices are as is right now, but if Xbox is increasing prices, then I would imagine that given that PlayStation consoles are made in countries where tariffs are going to impact them, it is possible, it is highly likely, in fact, that PlayStation hardware prices will go up as well. So while I talk about discrepancies in price points, I think we might potentially see PlayStation also up the prices to a degree that they seem appropriate based on current market conditions. If you were ever thinking about getting a PlayStation 5 in the not so distant future, and you want to be certain that you will get it at a cheaper MSRP or at the MSRP that these consoles launched in before a potential price increase, then I would honestly get these now as soon as possible. But the thing about PlayStation is that they're in a much better position. Their hardware is already sold really well. They've got a huge player base that they can ship their games to, and their exclusives do tend to be console sellers and draw in a lot of people, with Xbox lagging as behind as they are in the quote-unquote console races or console wars or whatever you want to call it. The price increases and the degree to which prices are being increased is going to cripple their sales significantly, I think. I mean, it was only back in March that we saw articles with headlines like this. PS5 sales are outpacing PS4 in the US, whereas Xbox Series X and S are lagging well behind Xbox One. Given all of the woe surrounding Xbox One, lagging behind that is a serious issue. But yeah, it's starting. The gaming space as a whole is going to be severely impacted by the tariffs, and market-leading companies like Nintendo starting to set game prices at $80, even though digital doesn't require distribution that physical does. Like, it'd be one thing if they up the prices for physical releases because, of the distribution that is required and the potential of tariffs impacting manufacturing for physical copies. It'd be one thing if, at the very least, they kept the digital the same price, but the fact that we're seeing even digital versions that, are just downloadable and don't require that kind of manufacturing and production and whatnot being up to $80 is just something that is not sitting well with a lot of people, obviously. And now everyone's following suit, including Microsoft, on top of the hardware price increases. It is just not going to bode well at all for Xbox, both in terms of optics and sales. And for consumers, well, I mean, prepare to spend a lot of money on gaming. Prepare for gaming becoming just less accessible as a whole. But keep in mind that it's not just the gaming issue. There are tons of companies outside of gaming warning people about how tariffs and the current economic conditions will impact bottom lines, will impact prices. Prepare for just the cost of living in general to go up in prices. Just brace yourself for that possibility. And with the Trump tariffs being in constant flux and there not being a clear vision or plan with it, there's just a lot of confusion and a lot of uncertainty, which is just further going to fuck with the economy. And so, especially when it concerns products made in China, that's the area that the U.S. government is really tackling the most, with other countries currently having a 90-day pause as far as tariffs are concerned. But once that pause is over, who knows what's going to happen? And again, plans are constantly shifting, and there's just no clarity on how tariffs are going to be executed. And so this is just going to be a constant flux. But there is the certainty that prices will go up. By how much? That's where things are up in the air, but they will go up. So just brace yourself in general, not just when it comes to gaming, not just in the luxuries that you partake in, but in your standard of living and in your ability to just be able to get necessities and basic needs. All of that will be impacted. But yeah, for those who are in the Xbox ecosystem or were planning to become a part of the Xbox family, all of this is important for you to know. Once you invest in the Xbox ecosystem, know that you are going to be spending quite a bit more money on just about everything from hardware to games to accessories. PlayStation folks, brace yourself for that, for a similar possibility. The Switch 2 recently, while they kept the base price of the consoles the same, they did up the price of accessories like controllers and whatnot, and additional things you can get for the Switch 2. And again, $80 games are going to be commonplace now, so just really brace yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything you need to know about the latest story in regards to Xbox prices going up and prices for gaming as a whole just ramping up. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on all of this. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.